Oh my gosh, I have all my books here. Oh, and here, I forgot earrings. Get it together, Danyell. Get it together. Oh my gosh, I feel like, let me lower you guys. Lower you just a tad bit. What is that? Books. Where are my notes? Okay. Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Welcome to Zodiac Reads, Books Aligned with the Stars. In this episode, we are talking about Leo-themed books. And if you didn't know what Zodiac Reads, Books Aligned with the Stars, it's where astrology meets literature, mostly fiction books, but we always have some nonfiction as well, and they come together. If you love astrology, if you love reading books, probably have some Gemini placements or Sagittarius placements, Gemini third house, Mercury somewhere involved, it's all good in the hood. Welcome to the perfect video made for you. This video is all for my Leos. Also, anyone craving anything bold, everyone look at me, drama, conflict, romance books, we got it here for you. 3, 2, 1. I love you. Now, in this particular episode, we are going to be talking about legacy, royalty, the Crowned, loyalty, books that post with the themes of family's pride, royal bloodlines, public image, and some power that's passed down from generations to generations. Now, if you ever see me swiveling, don't mind me. I just enjoy swiveling in my chair. But these stories are really packed with stories that are bigger than life kind of characters. We are talking about Leo the lion. They're larger than life characters. They have a weight of leading and being a leadership, very strong and courageous. Now, it could be literal. They are carrying a crown, or they have the responsibility of a famous name. Now, you can definitely expect some drama, expect some love, because how can you do fiction and royalty without a little romance? Leo is all about the romance. It's not just about shine, everyone look at me. It's about giving something that's long lasting. It is a fixed sign, by the way. Now, before I get into Leo themed books, because I have my book suggestions here, I want to wrap up all my Cancer themed books that I read during Cancer season. Actually, I forgot to even pull them. Let me pull them up. I have a book journal. Do you guys have a book journal? Am I the only one? And without my book journal, you guys, I wouldn't survive. I will actually forget the books that I actually read. Oh, before I pulled the physical books, there is one that I listened to on audio, and it's called Listen for the Lie. The audio book was very interesting because I was really going to read this for Gemini season, and life just caught up with me. So I said, let me read it now. So I actually read it during Cancer season, which is fine. And it was really interesting because it still had some Cancer themes. First of all, the main character, her relationship with her mom was not the best, but her relationship with her grandmother was the best. So there was this strong element of mother caregiver relationship. Even the father was brought up several times. The big part that was Cancer theme was her memory. She had memory loss, and it just made me think, wow, she must have had her moon with some bad aspects because she really lost her memory, and it had to be involved with Uranus or Mars. That's astrology talk. Whenever I read a book or I talk to someone, I always get in their head psychologically with astrology tied to it. So without the astrology part, the plot of the book is about a guy who is doing a podcast, and he's doing a podcast on the main character who seems like she killed someone. And I'm sure people love a murder mystery podcast, especially females. I'm not into that, but I've listened to a few of them. Anyway, listening to this via audio was amazing. I love that they went from the book, then cut into an episode of the podcast, which the podcast episodes were very short. But you hear like music in the intro of the podcast. I thought it was very interesting. This is, let's be very clear, a Gemini, Sagittarius access kind of book. There is publishing a podcast and putting it out in the world. There's interviewing, a lot of talking dynamics involved. Also, too, you have some Scorpio, Pluto aspects where you are trying to solve a mystery. So you do have that. At the same time, I would put this in a Cancer themed book because she did have memory loss, which is all about Cancer. So that is the first book that I'm going to mention. And the other books that I have, actually, let me pull them up. So the first book that I can't find is Animal Farm, and it's a very short book. I know I have the physical book because I was writing notes in it. It is also on my Kindle. Anyway, and when I do think of Capricorn season and Cancer, and they are on the same axis, I do think of classics and traditions, and this is a classic book. It is written by George Orwell. Animal Farm was breaking down a history event, and it was about the Russian War, pre-revolutionary Russia, the 20th century. Communism also is what it was about. I'm looking at my notes. Looking at history, because actually I don't know anything about the Russian War, and looking at history of Russia and connecting it to Animal Farm was amazing. This book 100% is a 5-star read. I love George Orwell. I love classics. And I also love classics that deal with historical energy, historical facts or historical stories. Now, this book is very thin. It is easy to read. And he was explaining that when this book was published, they put it in the children's section. And that's very Cancer theme as well, I would think. But it wasn't supposed to be in a children's section. He was very adamant this is not a children's book. It's a very good book. And when you break it down with history, it is perfect. And I give this perfect energy for Cancer season. And we are talking about the Russian War and correlating this. And it even has what some people think common things, because of course if you know your history, you know your future, and you won't repeat the same mistakes. So 100% 5-star. And it's so funny because I've started to read Animal Farm several times when never finished, and now it is completed. The first book I read actually for Cancer season, the actual first physical book I have, is One Golden Summer. I actually read this for summer solstice around that time. I think I mentioned summer solstice, and it has some spice scenes. It's a very typical romance book. The character in this book is a Cancer, so that was really fun. And of course, it takes place during July, and that's Cancer season. Let me see what else I have in my notes. Oh, she's really close to her grandmother, but it's someone who also is dealing with the past. Her family tradition is to go to the summer house in Canada and go there all the time. And the grandmother did not want to revisit her past. She's a little bit bitter. There was some stuff with that, but they discuss that within the book. She falls in love with a guy. He's giving very Leo energy. To me, you can, when you're reading it, you see that he's very charming and loving, but there is something that he's closed off about. It's a romance. It's a typical, you know, what happens at the end book. This to me is a very easy book. I'm reading my notes to see what I have. I think it's very general. It's very basic, and great for the summertime if you want a light read. After reading Malibu Rising, to me, Malibu Rising had a Cancer theme, very strong and heavy. And this one was basic level. And if you like typical romance novels, I would 100% recommend this book for sure. Next book I read is this book here, and it's called Remarkable Bright Creatures, and it's by Shelby Van Pelt. This book here, they even mentioned summer solstice in this book. I just thought, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Of course, it's water theme, and you get that with Cancer. I am disappointed that I didn't read any moon books during Cancer season, but it's never too late. I am a Cancer sun, so I can read that anytime I want to. This book is about an octopus, which I thought is really not just about an octopus. He's just one of the characters in the book. Octopus is very loving, very funny. One time I laughed out loud because he like starts off journal entries, and then he's like, look, cut the BS. We don't have time for this. And he just goes into what his issue is. I love this book because it was something different, a perspective from an octopus, but you also have a character of a lady who's older. There are heavy themes of mother, Cancer themes, and memory and history throughout this book. I would 100% give this a Cancer theme book. You do have grief, you do have loss, but there is a lot of history, vintage energy, talking about an old home, talking about how the home is connected to the family. The characters though, two of the characters, like the lady, I forgot her name, one of the characters who's a lady in Tova. Tova is one of the characters, and her husband died. I would say she has some Virgo traits for sure, because she was really into cleaning and the details of cleaning. And then also too, the guy who's in this book, I think his name, no, Marcellus is the octopus. But there's a guy in this book, and he also had some Virgo traits too, because he was cleaning stuff too. So they're Virgos. I didn't rate this book. I rate this book a 3. You know, would I suggest it to someone else? Yes, if they're into this kind of book, but it's just not my forte. But it is what it is. Not saying it's a bad book. It's just not my type of book. 100% give this a 4.5. The reason why I won't give it a 5 is because could we compare this to George Orwell? No, I can't. But I will continue to read any books written by this author because I thought it was really well written and easy to read, and I enjoyed it. So I would definitely recommend that book to other people. Next book I have, which is the last book I read during Cancer season. This is a historical fiction. I thought this book was going to be so boring, but I actually really loved reading this. This is called Harlem Rhapsody. Oh my gosh. I thought it was about a librarian only because at the bottom here it says the personal librarian, but that's another book. But I just associated it with, she's reading a book here. I just associated with a librarian, and also thought I was going to put this during Gemini season, but this is historical fiction, so it's perfect for Cancer. Cancer does represent history. Also, too, in this book, we are talking about W.E.B. Du Bois, and the author decided to create a story about him having an affair with this main character. I forgot her name. W.E.B. Du Bois, he also founded this magazine called The Crisis, and he's not only Jesse's boss, but he's her lover. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the tea. I loved it. I was very entertained, and it was very much about the time around 1930s and historical things that happened around the 1930s. Now, she did say she elaborated a lot with some of the fictional facts, and also she mixed some of the fictional facts, so it wasn't actually facts. She would put two stories together just for the story and the drama. I think it was well written. I do think it's not history factually. You have to like check some historical facts in here, but it was enough for you to put yourself in that time and think how the struggles that women had in those days, and even Black people. I don't think that takes much of imagination. Especially if you're African American, but I do think the book was well written. I enjoyed it. I didn't like that they mentioned Delta, which is a Black sorority, because I pledged AKA. It's all love for all Black sororities and fraternities, or I'm older. That was back in my heyday. However, I thought it was interesting that she kept mentioning Delta, and then she became a Delta. So that is why she mentioned it. And also the author is a Delta. But I would recommend this book. If you are a Delta, Sigma Theta, then you will love this book. But I did not pledge Delta, and I still enjoyed the book. I love the tea, and I would rate this book a 5. I am completely shocked that I would rate this book a 5, but yes, I will rate it a 5. I enjoyed it. I love history. I really love historical fiction. I thought I was going to be reading The Four Winds or some by Krista Hanna, and I didn't. I actually read that one, and that was really good, and I don't regret it. Okay, so that is my wrap up of Cancer. Now we're moving into Leo, and let me explain Cancer from Leo. With Cancer, you're talking about your home, and then you're going into legacy, from building emotional safety to leaving something lasting behind. You're going from memory, which is Cancer, to the legacy, which is Leo. Now remember, if you didn't know, Leo is a fixed sign, so the legacy will be lasting long. From remembering your past to making a mark on your future. You're going from nurturing to leading, for caring for others behind the scenes, to stepping up and guiding with your heart. You're going from private emotions to public expression. Leo loves to be on the stage. Cancer feels deeply, and Leo, which is ruled by the heart, they wear it on their sleeves. You're going from your family roots to your family pride, to exploring where you came from, to honoring the name you carry. You come from this energy of retreating to the energy of put the spotlight on me. Cancer seeks comfort in their shell, ruled by the crab. Leo steps very bold on stage, and it's ruled by the sun. You're going from moody to passionate, from protective to proud, from caring to charismatic, from being very sensitive and emotional to being very expressive, from feeling everything internally to channeling those inner feelings and creating something outwardly, from wanting safety to having the courage. You are talking about a sign that is ruled by the moon. Now we're going to a sign that is ruled by the sun. So you have a feminine sign to a masculine sign. You have the mother to the father. Soft, intuitive lunar vibes to the radiant, solar, confident, self-expressive sun. So now you understand the transition from Cancer to Leo. Let me just explain Leo themes and Leo, the energy alone, and we'll talk about some books that I have for this episode. So because Leo is an extroverted sign, it's masculine, it's ruled by the sun, there's compassion, there's leadership, there's legacy. We're talking about gold is a big part of this Leo energy. Whatever it shines its light on, because the sun shines brightly, then there's a lot of attention. The sun is also a strong energy of leadership, mentorship, being a royal, being a leader, being a boss, being a president also is what Leo represents. So the themes that I have for Leo is, one is, I'm looking at my notes, radiant reads, right? I got fierce and fearless protagonists. You're talking about characters in a book that is very dramatic, that's very fierce, that's very charismatic. So that's one theme. So very strong characters in a book. If you have any suggestions for those books, please let me know. I prefer fiction, but we can go with a memoir. Also, Leo is all about love and romance. So you do have passion, you have drama, conflicts. Also, too, Leos do represent the physical body, any fire sign, and athletes, because they're always on stage. Everyone look at me. Thinking of one book that will really go with Leo in love, passion, drama, and devotion. And it's a fixed sign, so that's why we have the devotion part in there. Now, also, too, Leo is a fire sign. So you have the fame, you have the celebrity, you have the spotlight, you have the stardom, and the self-expression. Everyone look at me book. So those books will be strictly about celebrities. And the last one, because I have 4. So the first one is about fierce, fearless protagonists, people who are very courageous. They give you that lion energy. The second theme is about love, passion, and romance with some conflict and drama in it. How can we not be dramatic with that? And the third theme is about celebrities and everyone look at me, I need a lot of attention kind of books. And the last one is legacy and loyalty. You're talking about fame, family, and pride and royalty. Okay? So that is what we have going on for this episode. Leo energy thrives where love runs deep and pride runs even deeper. These stories explore dynasties, chosen families, reputation, and the legacies we protect. From royal courts to famous stages, from ancestral secrets to public glory. We have books about the bloodline, we have books about fame, personal honor, and we're going to get into it. And the main themes of the books that I have chosen here, first of all, is royalty. So you're talking about opulence, you're talking about money, luxury. Who doesn't love that energy? Also, you're talking about royal themes, you're talking about that chosen family, blood line. All these are involved in this book. So the first one that I have, which I've already read, and I've actually gave the first book to my son's girlfriend, and it is called Everlane series. And this is book 2 and 3. I gave her book 1. I really love this series. I'm not into fantasy, and I love this. You can even see by the titles, Glow of Everflame, Heat of Everflame, very fire energy, very Leo energy, a lot of pride, a lot of family legacy, a lot of strength and courage, and a lot of heat. So this is perfect to read during Leo season. I already rated this whole series a 5. The last book is kind of thick, a little intimidating for me because I was like, oh, first of all, I hate series. I like to just read one book and done. So for me to say I like a series, that says a lot. But I do want to say that this book here, you can break this down. This is great to read and read it with a group or a club or read it with a podcast. And there's so many podcasts to read along with this book and break it down. 100% recommend. And if you don't know what the first book I felt like was giving healing energy, and I read it during Pisces season, but it was really about fire and Aries. I think I read it from Pisces to Aries season actually, but a lot of fire, a lot of strong energy. The main character is a female, and I'll just say she becomes royalty. And there is this difference between people who have magic and who have this magical energy versus people who don't. And there's a war between the two. And then there's love involved. Very much a slow burn. Let's be very clear. There's legacy, loyalty, pride and purpose, very fire energy. I read it during Aries season, but very classic coming to age fantasy. There's a lot of honor, there's fierce devotion and love as well. So the next book I have, which I read already, is Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm thinking I'm going to read the second book. I'm not sure the name of it, but I'll put it here. Oh, the second book is called A Court of Mist and Fury, and this is by Sarah J. Maas. Everyone loves her. When I read this book, I was annoyed. But when I finished the book, I actually liked it. A woman who, again, there is this energy of people who don't have power versus people who do. And then she meets a guy. Well, she's trying to help. She killed one of their fairies. And so then he's like, well, I got to keep you. But really, he has to fall in love with her or make her fall in love with him. And he's royalty. So there is this sense of royalty in this book. I really liked it, especially towards the end. So I'm very curious to read the second book, but it's about a powerful leader. They're protecting their family. She's protecting her family. He's protecting his kingdom. Has strong themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and carving out one's own destiny. Now, spice scenes. Very interesting in this book. And I kept thinking, isn't he a beast? He's a creature. I kept picturing like a lion of some sort. Anyway. So you have that book. I'm going to read the second book. Now, another book we have here. I don't know anything about this book. And it's like, am I going to be tired of series and fantasies? But this is called Red Rising by Pierce Brown. It says Darrow, born on a lowly red in color-coded dystopia, I think they're divided by color. Infiltrated the elite gold caste to spark a revolution from within. Gold, Leo rules gold. So let's see if that's involved in here. But there is a caste system and it's a color system. What begins as a mission for revenge becomes a story about identity, honor, and building something greater than yourself. There's rebellion, there's legacy, there's social hierarchy, there's bloodline, strong Leo energy around pride, honor, and family vengeance. I don't know if there's royalty in here, but I do know the other books were called Golden Sun, the Iron Gold. And for me to get to that part, I have to read the first part first. So let me know if you read this book, if you loved it. My friend read it and she was like, it's like all the other books. So we'll see how that goes. Now, this one I have is called Powerless. This is very popular on TikTok. And it's about the character, and I think his name is Peyton, is a non in a kingdom where magic equals value. Again, it's giving Everlane series. Do you have magic? Do you not? But there's also a kingdom involved. Pretending to have powers to survive, she ends up in a deadly competition. As the truth unravels, so does her identity and the legacy she's unknowingly tied to. Courage, there's secret royalty energy in here. I'm curious to read it. Everyone likes it. I think the last book of this series came out this year. The elite have possessed powers for decades, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the kingdom and shunned from society. So we'll see. Again, rebellion. I kind of like when books are about rebellious energy, so I might be really interested in this. Now, this book I already read, and I want to read the second book. The movie is going to be coming out. I think they're making a movie. They already have a cast for this, and this is called Children of Blood and Bone. I want to order the second book. I'm on a no buy, so I'm trying to figure out how to buy the second book. The second book is like $8 on Amazon. This book is definitely about royalty. It's actually like the kingdom versus the peasants. And again, you have the people who have magic, the people who don't, but it's opposite. The people who don't have magic, they're the royalties. They have the power. And the people who do have magic, they're shunned, but they're not able to use their magic. And from reading the first book, they do get their magic back. This is a great book. I don't like fantasy books, even though you can't tell. I'm really not into dystopia and fantasy, and all the books that I've named so far give that energy, but this is really well written. Of course, I also like that there is more color involved, people of color in this one. This is placed in Nigeria. I'm not Nigerian, but I 100% really love this book and can't wait to read the second book. But yes, and also there is love, there's bloodlines, there's legacy, there's loyalty, ambition, a lot of warrior energy. So very much giving Leo energy, kingdom and royalty as well. Now this book I haven't read, but of course I've seen the series on Netflix. You are talking about royalty. You're also talking about opulence and rich, right? And this is a series of Bridgerton. I actually want to read this before the next season comes up because they changed the plot or the characters. So I want to know what the real characters are about. But this is a Bridgerton family navigating love, their scandal, their social prestige. Also too, there is a writer gossiping about them. So it's giving very mercurial Gemini energy, but there's romance, family loyalty, a lot of high society kind of energy. That is giving more Capricorn, but you do have royalty in here and you do have romance, a lot of romance. So the family name, courtship drama, devotion, and pride and lineage. So we'll see how this goes. This one is a very interesting book. I don't know why I bought this version because it's like tissue paper. The paper, this is not actually for reading. Let me see. Because you can't even open the book all the way. I might have to read it on my Kindle. So another book that I keep saying I'm going to read and I have not read. And this is Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. I love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is perfect to read for Leo season. You're talking about the Targaryen history and it's involved in this book. It's a prequel to Game of Thrones Chronicles. And it's about the rise of House of Targaryen, their internal power plays, wars, and legendary rulers. Again, you have dynastic pride, you have royalty, you have literally fire in it. And I was going to read this during Aries season, but it might be better to read this during Leo season because you are talking about courage, you are talking about the bloodline and royalty as well. So this might be a really good a book to read. Now, another book I have, and I haven't read this one either, is called The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. And in a magical world ruled by secrets and bloodlines, Lori Missin, I don't know if I'm saying the character's name right, is thrust into a dangerous political game where her family name is both a weapon and a curse. Tasked with protecting her younger sister and keeping her mother's legacy intact, she navigates deals, betrayals, and intoxicating power of rebellion. I thought it was giving, from what I heard, what is that? The Bachelor? I don't know why. I thought it was like a love competition. Yeah, but there is some pride, burden of family's expectations, and a fierce love between sisters. That's giving Gemini energy, awakening and refusing to be silenced. There's heritage, there's bold, feminine defiance in a system built on control. Let's see if it has some loyal themes. It does have legacy. I would think that it has something with royalty and opulence in it too. The book itself is gorgeous. This is, I think, a special edition. But I've heard good things about this book. Every citizen in England is granted one bargain from their immortal queen. See, royalty. High society girls are expected to bargain for qualities that will win them suitors. A rare talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory. A perfect smile for one's ability to taste. Wow, I've never even thought, I don't think I've ever read a book like this. So I'm really curious to read this. Let's see how this goes. Now, other books that I have read in the past, and I don't remember them, but I know I've read every one. You have the Olin Bowling Girl, the other Bowling Girl, the White Queen, the Red Queen. It's about the Tudor family, King Henry VIII. And they were very popular. I read them about 12 years ago. I enjoyed every single one of those books, so I do recommend those books for you guys to read. But about royalty, ambition, betrayal, legacy, very well written. It screams Leo energy for sure. Remember, it was very popular, and you're talking about 12 years ago. These books, oh, I have two honorable mentions, okay? They have nothing to do with royalty, but I remember showing you guys this book, and I have not read this book. This is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. It literally has the sun symbol, which I didn't pay attention when I was recommending this book for, I think, Aries season. It's about creativity. This is very much Leo. And it has the sun on top, okay? It has the sun in here. Look, inspiration is what you have for one chapter with the sun symbol. Sign, you have make it up as one of the look for clues. I think it helps you, the source of creativity. I think this helps you motivate yourself to be creative. I should probably read a chapter of this every day. By Rick Rubin, another book just based on the title, okay? Called The Warmth of Other Suns. The warmth, the sun, Leo, okay? It's about the Great Migration. Yeah, how it would tie into Leo, even though we just have the title here. This is just on here based on the title alone. This is not a fictional book, okay? These are not fictional books, but yeah, the story of America's Great Migration is what that book is about. And it's Isabel's Wickerson book. As we close this chapter of Cancer season, cozy, emotional reads, and we step into the bold Leo energy. And we're talking about the heart, everyone like me, drama, creativity. I'm excited for Leo energy because when I do these videos, I'm actually in the time of the season. So it's currently Leo season. It's July 23rd. But let me know in the comments which books you are going to pick up first. If you have any suggestions for any of the Leo themes that I explained coming up, please put them down and we'll discuss them and go through them as far as books. Yeah, if you want more, you can join my private group. I go into details of astrology. I break down astrology. I explain astrology. So if you really love astrology and you want more, I have all that explained. The Mercury retrograde, Uranus retrograde, all that. I do tarot readings, and there's a lot of free ebooks that I have written just for you in there. So it's a lot of tools in that. So join that. You're like, I don't want to pay for anything. I want something free. I have a free newsletter, and I send that out once a week, actually every Monday, and it gives you the summary of the week so you can know what's the vibe in the sky weekly. I also give 2 or 3 bonus tips on how to manage that if there's a big transit happening within a month. Yeah, so do tarot reading and throw some other stuff on there, and also keeps you in touch with me, so I don't have to worry if anyone tries to cancel me. All right, but yes, but keep reading, stay radiant, and I'll see you. Oh, and in the next video we are going to talk about Leo, another Leo theme. I think I want to go into romance, which is very fun. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to share, subscribe, and comment down below. I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.